Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Monday, September 30th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Iowa game in 5 days, the game against Michigan in 61 days. The Buckeyes are back home following their 38-7 win over Michigan State over the weekend. They are 4-0. They are turning the page to not only the Iowa Hawkeyes, but also the month of October. September now in the rearview mirror, 4 relatively easy wins behind them. Now the task gets a little tougher. Today, we're going to be hearing from Ohio State head coach Ryan Day some of his thoughts after the game. If you enjoy these shows, you like hearing guys' thoughts after the game, coaches and players, you would really love our post-game show. We stream that live after every Ohio State game at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. We always have Ryan Day's press conference, as well as interviews with players and much more on that show. So if you enjoy these shows, you would love that show. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle, and you hit that bell to get notified when we do one of those live shows. All right. So Saturday night, Buckeyes started a little slow. It was an interesting game up until just before halftime, but right before the half, it felt like momentum really swung. The Buckeyes got a stop on defense, got the ball, went 60 yards in 6 plays, finishing it up with that crazy 17-yard touchdown reception by Jeremiah Smith, the second of his one-handed catches in the span of a couple minutes. That extended the lead to 24-7 and basically was the end of the game for all intents and purposes. So how important was that sequence there right before halftime? Also, we will apologize in advance. The camera's going to bounce up and down a couple times during this show, including at the start of this answer. The camera is on a riser because there are multiple levels of cameras. And anytime anyone stepped on or off or adjusted their weight on that camera riser, everyone's camera bounced. So apologize for that. So here's Ryan Day's thoughts on the sequence right before the halftime that really sort of changed things.
You know, something we spent a lot of time talking about. I think you guys have seen how much we've trying to get some of those 2-minute drills on the first few games, but that middle 8 is important, and we felt like if we could get a stop there on the second down, we were going to call that timeout. We got to stop on that third down, called the timeout, and then it gave us an opportunity to take a shot at scoring. And I think we ended up getting the ball at the minus 40. I think if my memory's right on that, and then just some tremendous plays. The play by Jeremiah, and then we at least have a field goal there, so we got to play smart. And I thought Chip was aggressive, did a really good job of calling him. And Devin stepped up in a big way, came in for Will and delivered that throw. But what an unbelievable catch! I couldn't believe he caught it. Just a tremendous play. But then I thought we came out in the second half too, and continued that because 28-7 at half. We wanted to get the thing to at least 35, and I think when you come out and you can get a 3-and-out, or I don't know if it was exactly a 3-and-out, and then get the ball back and score another touchdown. It just it flips the game, and I thought that was kind of where the game turned.
One of the reasons the game was interesting so close to halftime was that the defense did not get off to a great start. First quarter was pretty rocky, and even in the end of the second quarter, there were definitely some issues. So what were those issues for the defense in the first half against Michigan State?
Yeah, when you look at the sum total of it all, 50 plays and 246 yards and 7 points, you come away and you say, geez, well, what a great performance. And certainly I thought we did a really good job of shutting them down, especially in the second half. But there's some things we got to look at in the film and figure out, kind of early on, like you said, some explosive plays in there that we got to clean up. I think that we were watching the film at halftime. We were close to getting to the quarterback with a couple things. We just needed to hang on coverage just a tick longer. But listen, they're a good team and they're well coached and they have good players too. But I thought we responded and made the changes appropriate, and in-game adjustments were solid.
This one's relatively quick. Just updates on Will Howard, who left the game after a big hit in the second quarter. Obviously came back in, so he was okay. But just an update on him. And then Tyleik Williams. Ryan Day told us Friday night when the Buckeyes landed in East Lansing that Tyleik Williams was going to be available, and there were folks in our live chat that said, "Oh, he's going to play," and I said, "Not so fast, my friends." Available and going to play, not always the same thing. He did not play on Saturday night. So, okay. So after he was available, why didn't he play against the Spartans?
Yeah, Will's good to go. Just took a shot there, as you guys saw. Tyleik was available. He was going to be was available in an emergency role. If we felt like we needed him, we were going to put him in the game. He was cleared, but felt like one more week, almost like the Donovan situation, one more week of rest, would get him to 100%, which we felt like was the right thing to do. If we needed to, we could have put him in the game. We decided we didn't need him.
The Buckeye defense had a little bit of a rough start against the Spartans, but they also forced 3 turnovers, also got off the field on a 4th down stop on a really big hit by Cody Simon right over the center. Just boom, met the ball carrier, stopped him before he got to the line of scrimmage. Huge play to get off the field. How big was that for the defense to be able to find different ways to get off the field?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the turnover battle was huge in this game. And, if we don't get those turnovers, maybe it's a different game for sure. But that's the game. And, we got to make sure we're winning the situations. So, we'll take a look at the film and figure out where it's at. But I thought the atmosphere was excellent early on. I thought, they came out and played really, really hard. I think, again, Jonathan's doing a really good job of, putting his culture into and his thumbprint on the program here. You can see it going, and got a lot of respect for him and his staff. But I thought our guys responded well and had some really good poise. That was something that we talked about coming into the game, is having poise in the noise. Getting down in there. Some of those 4th down conversions are pretty clutch.
This was Will Howard's first road game as a Buckeye, and had a few bad moments, maybe a couple bad plays, but overall pretty solid. How did Ryan Day assess the play of Will Howard?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one was the interception. He knows. I mean, that was not a good play, and it could have cost us. So something to learn from. You just had to move on from it and work through his progression there. But when you're going through learning a new offense and everything, there's going to be some of these growing opportunities and learning from those opportunities. So, but overall, I thought he was solid. He was poised, made some big throws, and then a couple tough runs in there that you can see what a difference it makes when you have somebody who can run.
All of the talk on social media, on our board at BuckeyeHuddle.com, and seemingly everywhere else on Saturday night was about Jeremiah Smith. It feels like Ohio State fans have had enormous expectations for him basically since he stepped on campus. Feels like the national audience is sort of slowly trying to, starting to figure it out as well, that this kid is the real deal. So how has Jeremiah Smith managed to meet or even exceed what were absolutely insanely high expectations for him entering the season?
His work ethic. He does it every day in practice. I mean, he just doesn't say a word, but works his tail off. His discipline, his humility. He loves being a Buckeye. You can tell just with the way he works with his teammates. And he's coming out of his shell a little bit too, which is great to see. But, I mean, the talent speaks for itself. I just am impressed with the discipline and the hard work and being able to step in at such a young age. The only way you do that is if you go in and put the work in. And he came in with that work ethic. Brian's certainly taken it from there, but this is a special young man.
Another guy who came into the season with crazy high expectations, had a couple relatively quiet games to start the season, but had a nice, really big coming out party on Saturday night, was Caleb Downs. Obviously, he was a freshman All-American. He's not exactly an unknown quantity by any means, but he had a team high 6 tackles, tied for the team high with 6 tackles, had a big tackle for loss at one point. How big is it for the team to have Caleb Downs really kind of taking that step forward and being the player that they expected him to be?
Yeah, I thought Caleb played great tonight. Showed up in a big way on a bunch of different spots, and you can just see the acceleration, how fast he plays. And part of that is his athleticism, but another part is just the way he prepares. I mean, he prepares as hard as anybody on our team, and he was all over the place tonight, and made a huge difference. And you said in kind of turning that point where they were moving the ball some, and he got us going a little bit back there. And those are some big plays, and I think it kind of felt like it turned the momentum for us on defense.
One of the really underrated moments of the game came after 2 things we talked about. One was the injury to Will Howard. He went down right before the half. Devin Brown had to come in cold off the bench. He finished that touchdown drive, made that touchdown throw to Jeremiah Smith on that 17-yarder to make it 24-7. How impressed was Ryan Day with Devin Brown just being able to come in cold off the bench and finish that drive off?
That was a clutch play. It was a clutch play. He put it there, and we told him, if you have the opportunity to throw it, rip it. Only throw it where the receiver can catch it. He had a couple different options there. If nothing was there, just throw it out of bounds and kick the field goal. And he did that, and he gave him a chance. And And so it was good. It was good to see him make that play in that big spot.
Another Buckeye star on offense who had a really nice night on Saturday night was TreVeyon Henderson. He had 7 carries, just under 10 yards per carry, 9.9 yards per carry on his 7 carries. But the big story of his night might have actually been something that did not show up on the stat sheet. Pass protection. Not the most exciting part of the game necessarily, but maybe one of the most important parts of the game in Ryan Day's eyes. A couple really big blitz pickups from TreVeyon Henderson just maybe even made a bigger difference than all those rushing yards.
He had some great pickups, huge pickups. The one on the touchdown to Jeremiah and the touchdown to Emeka. And there was a couple more. He did a really good job coming across. I got to watch the film, but there's like 3 of them in particular. He came across and picked up some corner fires and did a nice job. That was big. He's becoming that all-purpose back that we all know he can be. And again, I thought they ran hard, but yeah, I mean, I think where we are right now is we're making progress, but we got a long way to go. And I think that our guys have that mindset. It was good to get this win on the road, first road win, good environment. But we know that the challenges are bigger ahead, so we got to get on this film and stay hungry and keep the journey going. But we're going to get back to work tomorrow, and we know that we got a really good Iowa team coming in here next week. They have had a week off, just like always. They're a very, very good team. Play complementary football, and so we know we got a big challenge ahead of us, so we got to have a great week of practice.
And finally, it seemed like whenever the Buckeyes really needed a big play, they had something to pull out of their bag to make that big play happen. One great example, that end around to Jeremiah Smith. Hadn't shown that yet this season, and then boom, when they needed it, nice touchdown run for him, 19 yards, to make it a 17-7 lead and kind of start stretching things back out after Michigan State had scored. So is that Chip Kelly's influence, that creativity? Is that Ryan Day? Who's behind all those creative solutions?
Yeah, no, it's everybody on the staff. There's collaboration, but Chip's got a great feel for the game and calling the plays, and it was always have some wrinkles in there. We got a few other ones that we held off on, but I think it's a balance of making sure that you have your fastballs where you're running downhill and you feel really good about them, but having enough curveballs that we can create explosive plays, and that's that balance you're constantly looking for. But we always want to try to find ways to get the ball to our playmakers in space, and we're going to keep trying to do that.
We will be back to a usual game week schedule this week with the Iowa Hawkeyes coming in on Saturday, a 3:30 kickoff on CBS this Saturday. We'll be there for that game, but we'll be there for all of our usual coverage this week as well. We'll have our interviews Tuesday at noon, Wednesday evening, all the features you've come to know and love, all the features you've come to know and expect, all at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle, and of course at BuckeyeHuddle.com as well. That's where Tony, Kevin, and I cover the team. Mark covers recruiting. Got our whole team of X's and O's gurus there to make you a smarter football fan. We hope to see you there at BuckeyeHuddle.com because this is a great time to join. We're running our $4.99 sale on your first month's of membership. If you've always wondered, what are those sites like? What's it like behind the paywall? How much more can they talk about there? All those kind of questions. Well, you can see it for yourself for just $4.99 for that first month. See if you enjoy it. When you want to turn that into an annual membership, you can do that. You want to just stay on a month-to-month thing? That's fine too. We would just love to see you there at BuckeyeHuddle.com, and we hope to do that. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.